Hi, you right?
Hi.
Cool. Looks very, very nice where you are.
Yes, I'm in the back garden.
Very nice.
Early evening sunshine. Sun's
Oh, lovely.
yeah, so it's been
How
lovely.
very pretty.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I guess it's, thank you very much for doing this, Mum. For all those who don't know, this is my lovely mummy. This is Bridget. She came to the first Find the Light group we had. It was great. I really enjoyed it, and it was a good little communal group. So thank you. I guess first of all, how are you doing at the minute with the lockdown and everything? How's your mental state right now?
Probably the same as a lot of other people. Up and down. Every day is different.
Yeah.
Gone through the period of feeling absolute panic at the beginning, not knowing what to expect. The worry about the change, then having good days, bad days. Just settling into a nice routine. It's like, yeah, I'm at home. This is good. And then bang, you get totally going back to work. So a bit up and down at the minute.
Yeah, it's the same. Like me and Alex, Rachel, the guys, Josh, whoever, we all say it's one of those days. It's you have good days and bad days. It's with that open-ended thing.
Absolutely.
Not knowing when it's going to end, it does things to you, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yes. Yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to go. I think it'd just be a general conversation, but yeah, we've spoken a lot about. We speak every day about how we're doing with our mental health.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of things that a lot of insights that you can give that I haven't really asked before because I don't think it's pertinent on a day-to-day basis. So you've been a nurse for 30 odd years now, isn't it?
31 years. Started nursing in 1989.
And have you ever seen anything like this at all that would test one's mental strain the same as we have now?
Never. I mean, I'm 55 now, and in my life, I've never experienced anything like COVID-19. It's even through my nursing career, I've never seen a pandemic. Absolutely nothing like this. It's the cliched word they all now. It's uncharted territory.
Uncharted territory, yeah.
Yeah, you can play COVID-19 bingo now with all the phrases. Not 3 months ago, we didn't have a clue what.
Of course.
Now we're all never seen anything like this, and I don't think a lot of I know I'm still actively nursing now, and none of my colleagues have ever experienced or seen anything like this. Never.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Like, so when you first started your nursing, obviously, I think you said you were in, was it not orthopedics? No, not orthopedics.
I did a lot of gynae nursing. I worked on general surgical ward, then went to work care of the elderly, worked a lot with dementia, mental health, and then my job now is a mixture of mental health and physical health. So in this job I see a huge range of physical and mental health conditions.
Yeah, of course, and obviously you've worked in a lot of different specialties, and I guess that comes with different environments.
Yeah.
Like me and Rhiannon, you know, we kind of grew up in nursing homes around you when you ran nursing homes.
Yeah.
Was there anyone? Sounds like a lot of activity there.
I'm quite distracted because one of the cats has just got onto the balcony upstairs and is haunting. If I turn you around, I don't know if you can see, he's actually up on the balcony. I don't know if you can see her. And now
no, we can't see it.
Turn around and get back down without falling. So you might hear a clatter of the few cats in a little while.
All right.
Hey-ho.
Move your camera down a bit, Mum. I can just see the document in your head. There we go.
Yeah.
So I was saying, you've worked in a lot of environments, a lot of specialties. Was there any one that stuck out as a more stressful environment? I know you worked on wards. I think you said you did A&E a bit. Was it seeing the old people? I say old people. People towards that period of their life suffering the way they did with their unique problems, or was it the adrenaline of the wards? Like, which bit stood out, if any?
Care of the elderly, definitely. I work a lot of time care of the elderly, and I branched out to do a lot of end-of-life care. So I would say that my passion then was definitely end-of-life care. Whereas now I've sort of almost gone into because I have mental health problems myself, I'm very passionate about mental health now.
Of course.
I'm very openly, I openly talk about it at work. I don't try and hide anything. The staff who I work with now are really, really good, very supportive.
That's great.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I've got a very similar experience. I had a very rough patch a little while back and had to take 6 weeks out, and the management, Stephanie and Prashant, were great. They were absolutely brilliant. And things changed at work as well. I think the tide's shifting a little bit. It seems the tide's shifting a little bit. That's really good.
I know from my experience in the job I do now, that we are so aware of risk factors, people's mental health, red flags to look for. I find posters all over the place. I don't know, you work from home, so it's different for yourself. But posters encouraging people to talk about their mental health, whereas 5-10 years ago, 3 years ago, people didn't talk about mental health. It was
of course.
It was an embarrassment, man up or get on with it. We have bad days, where I think we are definitely more understanding now.
I would say so, yeah. I mean, obviously, when you're growing up and doing your own struggles, like from my perspective, it was when I was like 17, 18, 19 when it started. And it's not until you reach that point in your adulthood that you think, like, you suffer now openly. Maybe you were the same when you were 17, 18, 19. Like, was there a point when you recognised your struggle started, and what do you know where it came in for?
Absolutely. I never had any problems with my mental health until my mum and dad died, your nan and granddad. So I was 27 when my dad died, and he was only 57, which is very young. I don't really think I grieved then. And then 3 years later, my mum died. So, and I think since then, that's when my paths changed. And I think as years go on and things happen in life, the death of a grandchild, the divorce, the marriage split up, bit by bit, these things chip away. And I think my mental health sort of reached a crescendo 3 years ago after your Uncle Philip died. Even though the closest person I was with, and I loved him dearly, and that's when I was actually given my diagnosis then. And after suffering for 20 plus years, against the appropriate medication for my mental health problem.
I guess maybe with Uncle Phil dying, was he the first of your generation?
He was, he's my first brother. It's a question of your own mortality, isn't it? Oh God, your parents have gone, your grandparents are gone, and now your siblings are gone, and then your Uncle Michael dying afterwards.
We feel the same. Rihanna and I had the conversation of all the grandparents have gone, and now it's on to that next generation. We feel the same thing. You do. It's the good way to put it. You start to question your mortality and the temporary nature of everything.
And I think it's very deep, and I think I sort of have a bit of a battle, because with my dad dying at 57, there's always that thing, that worry. I'm 55 now. I'm not worried, so I have to fight with my mental health to think, realistically, I don't work in industry, which is where your granda worked. I don't smoke, so I haven't got those risk factors. So I give myself a bit of a kick on those days and think, one thing I would say about this whole pandemic is I've been doing some research for work, and there's a lot of information out there about how other people are suffering, and there's a huge amount of people who are going to come out the end of this with anxiety. The millions of people who are going, 6.5 million people potentially going to be unemployed. So can you imagine how that affects their mental health?
Of course.
So, and you've got those who, what was it, 250,000, I think, people who had COVID-19 in the UK, and I think there were around 35,000 who died of it. So potentially you've got all of those who got the post sort of viral mental health problems.
Of course,
husband, wife, child, mother. So that potentially is going to have a massive amount of impact. I don't know if you noticed, inside, we got a thing through the door yesterday from NHS about looking after your mental health.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, we got one, so I'm imagining it wouldn't just pick me out within my little house, but I imagine it's going to. So I think good on the government for doing it.
That's great. I like seeing that, and I think there's a lot of people, not just people like me. Have you seen the walk and talk posters around?
Yeah.
It's Gareth, who I know, he does that. It's the community's looking after itself a lot as well, which is good.
Community's been fab. In my little community, we've got a little COVID-19 group set up and support. I don't do as much. I haven't been as active as I was at the beginning, but that helped my mental health, so that I was going out and having to get dressed to go out and help someone else. So on the days when I'm don't want them having a bad day, really struggling. The fact that I'd agreed to take that call.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Helped me.
Yeah, I'm the same. It helped me. It gave me a bit of a purpose.
Yeah.
When you were isolating at a period, and I had to do shopping and things like that, and for Sarah's family, it did give me a little bit of a purpose. It distracted me a bit. It's the thing that's getting me now is the kind of open-ended nature of it and just waiting to see.
Yeah.
And I think things like, I was speaking to Rachel about this today, one of my friends, for everyone that doesn't know. And I think I'm going to have to take a step back from social media. There's so much kind of vitriol, and
absolutely,
there's so many people on completely opposite sides of a lot of things. To go back to school, to not go back to school. Is it fake? Is it not fake? Should we be out? Should we not be out? And it's too much to handle, I think.
Yeah.
My anxiety is very high at the minute.
Yeah, I think it's best just to not comment on those things. But there's no right and wrong. Yeah. None of us have been here before. And if that's making you more anxious, take that away. You don't need that.
Of course.
Keep doing what you're doing, but you've got to protect yourself. And we're very open about mental health. For those that don't know us, we talk all the time, don't we? You have a lovely way when I phone you up and say, how are you doing? And, that's good. And you're pleased when I have a good day. But equally, you reflect when I say I'm not having a good day and say, oh, how come? And, let's go. We talk. I think we talk a lot.
Yeah, I think you and I are very much one another's kind of like sounding boards and comfort blankets at times. It's nice.
Still hurts. You struggling though with your mental health, and I find that's one of my biggest struggles as a parent. And
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah,
I was going to ask about that. Obviously, Rhiannon's struggles aside, she's not here to talk, so we'll leave that over there. But I struggled a lot, especially in the early stages of living at home, and then as well, for those who didn't know, I moved to university when I was 21 and stayed away, moved to London and further afield, and didn't come back until I was 32. And the struggles got bad at one point. And what did that do to you? Like,
and I've got your speaker on. You told me I'm sitting with earphones in and I'm talking to you through the sorry. No one said I was right to the.
No, we'll skirt past that. Sorry.
Skirt past that.
Yeah. Obviously, you saw me struggle at times.
Yeah.
As a parent, what does that do? Obviously, for those who don't know, I self-harmed quite a lot. I ran away from home. I was always I would just let myself sink deeper and deeper into these situations with a kind of pseudo messiah complex and think, oh, it's fine, until the total breaking point. Especially when I was.
Sorry, I was going to say, I don't think, as I've got more mature and my knowledge of mental health is improved, I feel I deal with it a lot better. I don't think I really understood what you were going through. I didn't understand, how you're feeling, and I probably didn't have the confidence to sort of, not the confidence in me and you, to dig deeper. I didn't know what to ask because people didn't know what to ask. So you were probably hurting, I was probably hurting, but I wasn't really supporting you, if that makes sense. Whereas I think now, years down the line, you can quite openly talk to me about how you're feeling, and I feel better in a position to at least offer some constructive support. And sometimes you have to put the parental thing to the side, although it breaks your heart, and the nurturing instinct is just put your arms around you and make you feel better. I feel like we've got the relationship where we can talk and help each other. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. Yeah, I think
I was very much healthier years ago because I didn't really understand how you were feeling, and
I didn't understand. So I think the best you could have done was being there when I was at hospital, or being there when I came home. That you did, I think, genuinely everything you could. I've certainly got no thoughts about that. I never have had any thoughts about that. But again, no one knew what mental health problems were 15 years ago, really.
No.
It applied to soldiers coming back from the war, or mothers with postnatal depression and things like that. But we, especially being in the Northeast, we always had that stiff upper lip, just man up,
absolutely,
get on with things thing. And I think that's changing. I think that's changing in a big way.
And I think there's been some good things come out of COVID-19. There's a sense of community. I think to see the government, when they do their daily briefing, talking about people's mental health and offering the support, that's something good. I feel reflecting on what you've got. So on the bad days, rather than me sitting and you've seen me cry and you've seen when I'm still sitting in my pajamas at 5 o'clock at night and not brush my hair. But I've done a bit of mindfulness and taught myself and said, I'm going through this the same as everyone else. Looking at what I've got, my nice little garden, my job, my family, and trying to make the most of it on good days.
Yeah, I totally get you. One of the things I've noticed...
Having this conversation tomorrow, none of us know what to expect tomorrow. You might get the screaming, whinging, whining, I can't cope, and I'm really having a bad day, Bridget, who will be like, no, I'm not going on video. Mental health. It doesn't have any, you're good at words, I'm rubbish at words.
Well, the way I always thought of it is it's reality seen through a lens of obscured logic.
You see variable, things, isn't it?
It's totally variable, yeah.
Variable.
Yeah. It's so variable that mine differs from minute to minute. I'm sure you're the same. You can be sat there and think, I'm comfortable, and then something will kick in, like, I don't know what to do. Like, you start getting anxious. It's terrible.
I found out last week that I was going to start branching out as part of my job because of COVID-19. Things having to change. And although I know I'm absolutely more than capable of doing it, I've nursed for years, my anxiety just sparked off like a great big firework. Fear that I wouldn't be good enough at that. I couldn't do that. Would I be a judge? Would I pass the audits? Would I be able to do it? Then when I was starting the training didn't start. Panic and anxiety over that. Now I'm panicking about going back to work next week. And for what? But that's the thing with mental health. You don't need a reason sometimes.
No.
And it's hard to grasp logic when your sort of thinking's impaired. When you're not really mindful, your paranoia creeps in.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not good enough. I can't do the job. So within the space of like a minute, I can go from, well, maybe you didn't do that right, to being put on a PR, put on a warning, put on a final warning. I've been suspended. I've been dismissed, and I'm not nursing again. And all I've done is not put a full stop at the end of a sentence. But in Bridget world,
of course,
the paranoia is real.
That's kind of what I mean when I say obscured logic. Like, the reality might be totally fine, but you see it through this lens of your past experiences and your mental illness. And my therapist called it catastrophization. Your mind will naturally find the one worst outcome and then just keep drinking it in until it becomes your reality. There's no... In those moments, there's no difference for me. I can't see what is really real. That's real to me.
Yeah, I think one good thing is that I'm very self-aware now. I have good insight into my condition. I recognise things like I know if I don't eat healthy, put weight on, has a spiral effect on my mental health, which itself put more weight on. If I don't sleep very well.
Yeah, I was going to say sleep's a huge one for me. If I don't sleep well, I spiral really quickly.
And I protect myself now, so I try not. I used to love a drink, I used to really enjoy having a drink. I very rarely drink alcohol now because that lowers my mood. I make sure
very much the same.
Yeah, medication, take it religiously at a set time that I know I'm going to get the benefit. So I'm quite mindful, but it's taken me to 55 years, maybe 53-year-old, to get to this level. And even then, we're not cured. I don't think you ever get cured of mental health problems. But I'm managing a lot better than I did.
I think so, very much so. And I think what you've said, where you say you're self-aware, I am, and I think maybe that's the reason we can talk to one another without stigma, because we know it's just the facts of the situation. Yeah,
and I think that's very good with the colleagues. Some of my colleagues, they know if my mood's dropping, I go from extreme high and low mood. I'll isolate myself at work, but I go in and I'll say, I don't really want to talk to anyone today. I'm not being rude. Great, they'll come and try and get me in the staff room. They know it, but they'll also recognise if they feel me behaviour's going off a bit, and they're not frightened to say, "Are you all right? I'm worried about you."
Yeah,
and that's good. Can you imagine years ago people didn't talk about it? So I'm very lucky that I've got yourself. I've got Rhiannon, who's very knowledgeable on mental health. Great team behind us, and I think that makes a big difference. And I feel very lucky that although I've got mental health problems, there's people out there who don't have the support that I've got.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes me sad. That makes me really sad because, there before the grace of God go I. If I didn't have the support from you and the understanding and was lucky enough to get private psychiatric assessment to get the proper diagnosis. Who knows?
Yeah. It's there's always that thing of what if, but for me, I think a lot of my mental illness stems from how over analytical I am. Very, very much so. But
you worry
oh yeah,
ridiculous amount. And I think, unfortunately, I've put my hand up. I'm sorry. I think you get that from your mum. I worry about hurting people. What have I said? Should I have said that different? Have I said something wrong? Did I do that? Could I have done it wrong? And before you haven't done anything, but you worry and you care too much.
I think so, yeah. And I think I'm glad you come on to that point. Like, I was going to ask you, but I didn't know how to broach the subject. I think you can pass certain things on, and that is what it is. It's just life. Do you think any of what you have came from Nana and Granda?
No, not at all. Because Nana, your Nana was such a... Again, mental health wasn't talked about, but I never ever saw any signs of any mental health problems. There was always a happy, smiling household, lots of laughter, lots of children around, because your Nana and Granda fostered. A lot of laughter. I was just talking to George the other day about how your Granda used to have worky days and wind you up. No, there was no, I have to say, no evidence of any mental health, and I think initially I got reactionary depression after Nana and Granda died. And then just a sequence of events, and it's a bit like things chip away and you never quite get back up again. When I had my first lot of counselling, he said you've had a significant amount of trauma in your life, but because I think we class ourselves as strong people, we didn't really recognise. But when I actually sat and wrote about down, you have your partner having a massive stroke 6 weeks before you're due to get married, having to move house, and so and everything around. So I think it's just a bad bit. I think it's just chipped away. Life's events is made
absolutely,
I think. But I do think there's definitely a genetic link, and I think so, you've got that gene from me and then another family member. So
but I think realistically, my point was originally that a lot of mine comes from over-analysis and worry, but that's got me everything I've got today. The fact that I'm so cautious and so careful, and I genuinely care about the people around me.
You do. I'm sure a lot of people on here know you, but for those who've joined the group, you, and I'm not just saying it because of my son, you probably are, well, in the top 3 kindest people I know in my whole life. You are just, and there's not a bad bone in your body, and you would be mortified if you thought you'd hurt someone. You're kind and you're considerate, and you've got a lovely personality, lovely nature.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm dead proud of you.
You're not bad yourself.
No, I'm all right. Have me do it, Have me do it.
Of course.
I'm just quite a nice bit of a suntan here sitting out in my garden.
You do, yeah. It's lovely. You look all nice, yeah. Yeah, I think that's where you and I differ. I'm indoors with the air conditioning on. Like, oh God, no! You must have some Puerto Rican in you somewhere.
Love the sun. Love it.
Nah, I definitely take after me dad in that respect. I'm half vampire, I think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mum. I think this is the longest we've talked on video since this whole thing started.
It is, and I'm just so proud of you. I worry about you in that, because you want to help others and you've set up this Find the Light group to make sure that you're mindful of you're mindful of your own mental health, and don't always put people first, because you see, the thing with social media, sometimes there might be time that you might have to step back and find the light and look after yourself. So make sure that you give enough time for you as well as trying to help others.
Yep, I certainly will. I'll follow Mum's orders.
I love you.
I love you, Mummy. Can't wait to see you again.
Bye.
Take care. Bye, Mum. Love you. Bye.
Bye.